Hi, I'm Gareth and I'm a solo carer for Warwickshire. I used to work in residential home. I worked in there for 4 years, and when I worked in residential I realised what it was like for the children to bounce around from home to home and then eventually I've ended up in residential. So I applied to become a foster carer for Warwickshire, and then that's when I became a foster carer. With my current placement I've got at the moment, I was very unsettled, had 30 plus placements bouncing around the system, really struggled, was out of education for over 3 years. Since he's been with me, he's a lot more settled. He's been with me for 18 months now, settled full-time in education, no issues at all. And I think it makes, with my family as well, they're so approachable in the ways he's settled in. It's made it feel more like one big massive family with him in there. I think it's just been able to have like a settled home, being able to, that they know where they're going, they know that they're settled here, they know that they're staying here, they know we're going to support them in everything that they need, they know we can actually care for them. So it's had a massive impact, and you can see that in their everyday life, just going to school and being happy to go to school, and then coming home, you can see that a lot more in them. A typical day as a foster carer, it varies. So if you've got like school holidays, for example, we've been on a holiday ourselves, we like to make sure that the children have experiences. So we've done jet skiing, we did water obstacle courses. The child in place absolutely loved that. It's an absolutely fantastic experience. Sometimes I think you have to take into consideration it can be quite overwhelming because they're not used to that sort of experience, so you can get some difficult behaviours at times, but you have a lot of training around those behaviours. I think you have to have a really strict routine in place. So with my child, we have to make sure that they know when breakfast is, brushing your teeth, making sure the clothes are laid out the night before, making sure they know everything in place, because quite often if you don't have that, you can have some difficulties around it. We quite often go and see family. We'll quite often go to my nan's, or we'll go and see my mum and my stepdad. They're a massive support network for myself. So when you are fostering, you have to make sure you have a massive support network in place. And then the bedtime routine, I'd say, sitting down, having an evening meal together, so we've got time to talk about everything, sit down together, and then have a really good bedtime routine in place. So I don't allow electronics at bedtime, so it's more sitting, reading a book, so doing something quite relaxing, doing a bit of colouring. Quite sometimes you can have unsettled nights, but it's making sure that you've got something in place where, like for example, if the child doesn't sleep throughout the night, having puzzles, colouring books and stuff like that. Each day varies really. With my child, there wasn't an education setting in place at the time, so we spent roughly around about 3 months trying to find the right education setting, because some schools provide different things, they go things with different approaches, especially when you have these children with attachment issues. You need to make sure that they have the same approach as what you do at home. So we spent a lot of time going around and trying to find the perfect placement for them, and ensuring that the school knows that they need to work as a team. The school's not just there to make a decision on their own for the child, it's all done as a team approach. They attend the professionals meetings, they attend their PEPs, which is like a bit like a parents' evening, but rather done with everyone, with the social worker, with the child social worker, with yourself. All the decisions are made together as part of a team for the best interests of the child. With a solo carer, there's a lot more meetings in place, a lot more professionals meetings. So when the child is at school, you have a lot of professionals meetings, or you can have social workers visiting the house. So it's making sure, like obviously the house, you've got time to make sure you clean the house, you've got time to do reports and stuff like that as well. With the professionals meetings, we have those every 2 weeks. That involves the education, the child social worker, your social worker, the family support worker, and quite often a health practitioner. And they're all about everyone getting together to make sure the needs of the child is being met, and you're getting the right support as well, rather than just everyone just sitting and having a discussion. You have certain things that you have to discuss in those meetings. So every day varies really. We worked with an outsourced company that did a lot of therapeutic approach care, which helped a lot. We've done a lot of ride and pace training, which Warwickshire outsourced just for the solo carers. So quite often if we sit in our supervision with our social worker and we ask for certain training, Warwickshire will then put it in place as well to help support you placement. It's bespoke for solo. They do it because sometimes you can have a child that's having quite a meltdown and quite high end and quite emotional about things, and they come in and they do training with you, and it's all about how you approach it, so how you get the child from that level down. Just do it. It's the best thing you could do. I'd never go back from it.